So the New York Knicks decided to finally make some moves. I mean, we're only a couple of weeks away from the preseason, so they eventually had to get this done. We should know during training camp what the rotations are going to look like, but Landry Shamet, Malcolm Brogdon, and Garrison Matthews are all competing for a roster spot. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about who should get it. I thought Shamit personally last year stepped in and did a great job. I like Brogdon's playmaking ability when healthy. I still think he's going to be one of the better backup point guards in basketball. Can play make even, very efficient. Now, Brogdon last season was not good, but you look at the previous two seasons, he shot the three ball at 41.2%, 44.4%. And you look at his assist, because that's what we're looking for, is him to run the offense. 5.5 and 3.7. He actually was at 4.1 last season. So this guy can facilitate. Deuce McBride, as much as I like him, he's an off-ball guard. Deuce is not taking the ball up the court. He's not playmaking. He's not running the offense. Deuce is going to defend. He's going to spot up and hit threes. He is a much more improved mid-range shooter. He's only 25. Deuce just turned 25, so of course his game's only going to elevate. But right now, the Knicks just need somebody to take the pressure off of Brunson, because you could argue that one of the main reasons why the Knicks lost to the Pacers is because Brunson was taking the ball up every single time and they had no one else to do it. And because of that, the Pacers were full court pressing, being physical. Like game six specifically, just go back and watch it and look at the on ball defense that the Pacers constantly were doing. They did it all series, they did it in the previous playoffs, so it's nothing new. But the Knicks need someone to allow Brunson to play off the ball. And Brogdon and Brunson could also play together, which is something huge as well. Like, Deuce and Brunson can work, Kolek and Brunson, but Brogdon and Brunson actually makes a lot of sense, and I think we could see that. Will he make the roster? I don't know. Landry Shamet had a training camp invite and he made the roster. I think Brogdon's probably too good, especially because he's fully healthy, to not make this. There's no way there's 15 better players, but also the Knicks financially cannot just carry the best 15. They are going to have to carry Kolek, and they're going to have to carry Haporti and Dadier. Not to put those guys down, but it's because they're cheap, and the Knicks are paying their starting lineup and all that money. And Mitch also needs an extension. So some of these sophomores will make the roster. Diawara probably will make the roster. But in terms of the veterans, it's truly going to come down to probably that final spot. Now, let's just look at the team. So Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, Cat. That's five. Deuce, Shamit. Shamit to me is a lock to make the roster. I don't see a world where he doesn't. And then you got Mitchell Robinson. That's 8. Then you've got to go with Kolek as 9. Dadier is 10. Porty is 11. And now Diawara is 12. This is such a bad depth chart. But I'm looking at, of course, there's 3 roster spots. Let's go to the Knicks website. Knicks depth chart. ESPN is so garbage, bro. Okay. Yabasele. There. How is Yabasele not on the ESPN? That's 13. Jordan Clarkson is 14. Yeah, there's literally one roster spot because the Knicks have to carry those rookies and those sophomores. So I guess it really is a final roster spot. The thing with Garrison Matthews is he's basically Landry Shamet. He's a better shooter, but can't do anything else. I watched Matthews close when he was in Houston. I used to cover the Rockets like every single day. I like Matthews, but he's not better than Shamet because Shamet gives you defense, and he can also attack the basket off of closeouts and things like that. Matthews can't really do that. I mean, Matthews is a fun player to add. He's a sniper, but there's just no room for him. And then Malcolm Brogdon is in a tough spot because he hasn't proven to stay healthy the past couple of seasons, and they've got Tyler Kolek. So are you going to carry Brunson, Kolek, and Malcolm Brogdon, and then you've got Deuce? I don't know, man. I just don't really see the Knicks doing that. They don't have any wiggle room. All they could offer Shamet was literally vets minimum, which he took, even though he had interest from other teams. The Knicks, they truly just need another wing who can shoot and defend, and that's literally Shamet. I don't think they need any more playmaking, assuming they're going to give Tyler Kolek more of a role. You look at a team like the Houston Rockets, speaking of them, they're using Reed Shepherd more since they lost Jalen Green. Well, if the Knicks end up being in a similar spot to where they never had anyone to lose, and the Knicks is literally the same team, just adding players. But assuming they do want to give Kolek that extended run, well, he's going to be the backup ball handler, and then they can go to Shamet, which I actually like that idea. It's just, is Kolek ready for that? Is Kolek legitimately ready to play 10, 12 minutes? to give Brunson a breather and run the offense. Because in those 10 to 12 minutes, the Knicks could be a -8, -9, and we're talking about that's going to hurt their chances of winning a championship. I don't know if Kolek is. I don't really think Kolek is ready to do that. I've seen his workouts this summer, and he looks a lot better. I think he needs more time. So I'm kind of leaning towards Brogdon being a good idea, but I don't know if I'd want Brogdon over Shamit. I just don't see a world where I'd ever be comfortable losing Shamit. I wanted him back the entire offseason. It just sucks how the salary cap exists. I mean, I get why it does, because if it didn't, I'd complain that it didn't. But it's so stupid how the Knicks are forced to kind of keep guys who aren't gonna play much of a role. Like, if I'm being honest, like is Pacom Dadi actually gonna be a part of this rotation? Like, Ariel Laporte, I think, has promise and potential, but Mitchell Robinson and Cat and now Yabusele are there. And it's kind of funny how I didn't even think of Yabusele and Clarkson. I mean, bear with me. There's been no news for the past couple of months, and I'm in baseball and football mode. So, and it's not like weren't on the team last season, but still, Kevin McCullough is a guy to keep an eye on. I like these young players, but the Knicks need veterans. Like, I'm all for just 15 veterans. I know you guys are gonna be like, hey, develop for the future. Like, I get that. But isn't that why like two ways exist in the G League? It's just, like, I'd rather just, and I guess technically the G League, like, if you have guys on a two way, they can play in the G League and they can play in the regular season for the Knicks. But also, if they're not, then they have to be just with the Knicks. So I don't know, it's just a nightmare. It's cool because you don't have to worry about things like this in baseball and football, but in basketball, it's just, man, it sucks because Cat, OG are making bags. Like, imagine if Brunson wasn't on a Brady Mahomes type of pay cut right now. I don't know why I keep giving football analogies, but if Brunson wasn't like there, I guess we'll use Derek Jeter. That's if Brunson wasn't on like this type of pay cut, the Knicks would have no chance. I mean, they're barely have any wiggle room as it is with Brunson on this pay cut. I mean, if Brunson ends up getting a supermax in his next contract, I mean, God, that's gonna. I mean, if the Knicks win a championship, I mean, I'd give him every single penny of that supermax. But I just wish the Knicks could carry Brogdon, Shamit, and honestly Matthews. That would be awesome, having more depth at the guard and the wing. And then, hell, they could probably even go out there and bring in another forward. They could offer Ben Simmons a little bit more money. Because the reason why Ben didn't take the offer is because the Knicks couldn't offer him more than the vet's minimum. Even if the Knicks had more, I still don't think Ben would have came. Because the report was Ben had little to no interest in playing for the Knicks. It did mention that he wanted more money, but it said for the Knicks. So that's kind of the thing here, is it just puts New York in a situation to where they can only do so much. And God, could you imagine the Knicks having like a very deep bench? The starting lineup's already elite. I mean, Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, and Cat. I still am kind of for putting Mitch and Cat next to each other to help the defense out. And that way you'd have Hart off of the. I think Hart's just a bench guy. Like, I'm not saying Josh Hart is necessarily a bench player. I think he could start on a lot of teams, but his impact, I feel like, is just felt more off of the bench to where he can help run that second unit and things like that. The issue with Hart in the starting lineup is he can't shoot, and teams are just gonna, like, for example, like the Celtics put Porzingis on Josh Hart and basically force him to become a spot up shooter. If you put Cat next to Mitch, sure, Mitch can't shoot, but Cat is on the perimeter anyway, and then Mitch is going to be dominating the boards. And what do you do with Cat? You put a small, like, teams were putting smaller players in Cat, but then Cat started to get aggressive and say, the hell with this, I'm going to the basket. And even if Cat does miss, okay, Mitch is going to get a free putback. If they sort of help out, Cat can hit Mitch, or if they collapse on the wing, well, Cat can kick it out to a shooter. So I'm not saying I know more than the Knicks, but as I watched the tape and as the season progressed, I was all for Hart coming off the bench. Do I think Hart's going to come off the bench? No, not really. I think they'll go with Mitch to have Mitch and Cat. But, I mean, what's the point of Okporti if you're bringing Mitch off the bench? You can't play Okporti and Mitch together. It made no sense how the Knicks decided to go to Mitch, like, the third game of the Eastern Conference Finals, because they barely had any reps talking about Cat and Mitch. They had some towards the end of the season, but it was always in like garbage, like blowout. So they need to get those guys out there in legit scenarios. But let me know if you guys agree. I know a lot of you do. I personally am all for Mitch starting. I no clue why he doesn't, but maybe it's a concern of his durability and keeping him fresh. But that's all I can really think of. But in terms of like Josh Hart, he just isn't a good fit for the starting lineup, because everyone around Hart can shoot. Like, even OG, what was OG's 3-point percentage last season? OG was at 37.2. That's above league average.